to the Downtown Scoop, your Downtown Canton Partnership podcast. I am your co-host, Amanda Dukes, and of course, I'm here with the Mike Sturdivant. How's it going, Mike?
It is wonderful. We are back at it again with another thrilling episode of our podcast.
I'm excited because
A thriller episode.
it's both.
Dun dun dun.
It's a thrilling thriller of an episode.
I was trying to think of a segue that was clever, and that was the best I had. So
that was pretty good.
Hope that works out well.
We'll find out how well it was received.
We'll find out here a little bit. It's okay. Leave it in the comments how terrible my joke was once you know who our guest is.
Right. Well, Mike, why don't you tell us a little bit about why it's a thriller of a thrilling episode?
Yeah, so this was actually something you're a little tied in with your job down at the DoubleTree, but it was an event that happened here in downtown for the first time last year, and I heard amazing things about the turnout and how it went, and then was very excited to hear. I know we at the partnership kind of gave a grant to it last year, and I believe this year as well, to help support the event. Big tourism grant that's going to bring a lot of people, or tourism event, sorry, that's going to bring a lot of people from outside of the area into our downtown, into our community. And when we heard it was coming back, we knew we had to have them on the podcast to talk about it. So for those people who are into, I guess, horror movies, especially old school one, this is a perfect podcast for you, because I know this is a really niche thing that people love. So it's Small Town Monsters.
And we have Miss Courteney with us, who
Hello.
is apparently the everything of Small Town Monsters. Exactly. We found out. We were having conversation before, and we kind of just figured out she's just like the person who just handles all the little things, the logistics of stuff. So we're excited to have you on. We definitely have the right person here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Courteney, how you got into Small Town Monsters, let alone into this world. Have you always been like curious about these type of things and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so Small Town Monsters as a company is actually turning 10 years old next year. It'll be our 10-year anniversary, so we're excited about that. But it was a company that was started by one man, our owner, Seth Breedlove, who just loves making movies and documentaries, and he had a friend who was really into Bigfoot. And our first movie was The Minerva Monster, which is a local Bigfoot legend from Minerva, Ohio. And it just kind of grew from there. At this point, the company has 9 people that work for it, most of us full-time. And I got started because my best friend from childhood, Heather, got hired on as, at first, a part-time researcher. She's obviously full-time, and she's actually our chief creative officer now. But she got on these shoots, and she was doing the research, and eventually she's just like, you want to tag along? They need a behind the scenes photographer. And I had taken photography in 4-H, getting those skills, and I had a camera. So I went to a couple shoots, and then I got to the point where they're like, we're going to go film a movie in Colorado, and we need a cinematographer. You take really good pictures. Why don't I show you how to shoot? So I then became a cinematographer, and then they needed a business manager. And then I became a producer, and now a director at times. So, and the event planner, which is what I'm here to talk about today. Monster Fest, which is our event that we're holding at the DoubleTree in downtown Canton. This will be our second year. We chose the DoubleTree because of our love for the Canton Palace Theater, which I love the picture you have behind you with the Canton Palace marquee there. So it's just kind of, we're from here. We love Ohio, and these events, these cryptid events, because that's what we do. We make documentaries about cryptids. So your Bigfoots, your Mothmen, UFOs kind of fit in there. Every once in a while, we'll get some ghost stuff, or we have the Bell Witch as a movie. So like a historical haunting witch sort of thing. But all of these like spooky documentaries that we're just trying to tell these stories. But we love home. We love Appalachia. We do a lot of stuff, specifically for, Ohio, West Virginia, PA, just to kind of bring stuff home. But these events happen all over the country, but none in Ohio, none at home. If you wanted to go to a Bigfoot event, you'd have to go to Kentucky or West Virginia or the Mothman Festival over in Point Pleasant, but you're not going to get anything in Ohio. And we're like, we don't like hauling our merch everywhere. We want to bring this home. We want these people to come to our home. So last year we decided to give life to Monster Fest, and it went very well. So here we come with round 2 at the end of the month.
I'll tell you what, we're excited at the hotel. So I was a baby last year at the hotel when this came through, and I just remember they asked me to work extras. I was working only a few days, and I was like, yeah, sure. They was like, it's going to be like this huge event. I was just working front desk at the time. And I had no idea what to expect. None. But I was like, can I go look around? Like, I need to know, because it was so intriguing. Not that these are like things that I am interested in or like I look up, but it was so cool to see, one, how excited everybody was, how into it everybody was, and the different things that people had. It was incredible. So it is definitely something that I don't think it's just for people who are into this type of thing, but if you've ever been curious or like, what are these people doing, I highly suggest coming to check it out, because it was fun. Again, these are not things that I regularly am into or talk about or want to watch on TV, but this was such a cool thing to just experience. It's just one of those things I think that you never know until you actually experience it. So I love that. I love the hometown feel, because of course I love Canton. I'm a Canton girl. But fun fact, I have family in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
Oh, really?
If you have one family member in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, you're related to the rest of them, because it's not big. So that's so I know all about that area. So it was really cool just kind of have people
do they go to the Mothman Fest yearly?
I have no idea.
You have to find out.
I think they just live in it all the time.
Yeah. Mothman Festival is like, we generally set up there. We have like a tent that we sell stuff, and it is a thing. We didn't get to go this last year because we were out of state on a film shoot, but the last time we went, I think there was like 30,000 people there. It was 98 degrees in the shade. I was just sitting in my little tent selling t-shirts, just dying for 2 days straight. It is as someone that works at the event, it is a grind. But people love that event. And that's kind of what we wanted to bring to Monster Fest, but we wanted to bring more of like a Comic-Con feel, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's why we have like the different things going on. Like, I think we're the first ones that have done live podcasts at this kind of event, because people love podcasts now. So you can come, and we have, I think, 5 or 6 this year that you can come see Astonishing Legends live in the big speaker hall downstairs, because there were so many people last year. We moved them downstairs.
Yes.
We have Jim Harold, who is an Ohio guy. He's from up near Cleveland. He has a hugely popular podcast where he tells like, I think the one he's doing is his campfire one. So it's spooky stories, not on any particular subjects, but, you know, a little bit open to everyone. So we have a whole bunch of those. We're doing film screens of our movies, because why not? It's our event. Sometimes people just want to sit down. Here's a comfy seat, watch a movie. The vendors for these events are usually kind of spooky themed, but a lot of them aren't. There's a little bit of something for everyone. And we do make a point to tell the vendors, hey, this is a family-friendly event. Make sure your table reflects that, because kids 12 and under do get in free. We want this to be accessible for the whole family. So if you want to, you know, it's summertime, bring your children, they're going to be able to walk around the vendor hall and not see anything that you wouldn't want them to see. We do definitely make an effort to make sure that it is accessible for all ages. And then we're going to have workshops this year, which is brand new. So if you wanted to know how to cast a Bigfoot footprint, Amy Boo is going to be there. She's an Ohio female Bigfoot researcher who is part of several larger Bigfoot researching groups. And she's going to show you how to do that. We have Mike Ann, who's online as Tactical Bigfoot Research. He's going to show you how to collect DNA in the woods and how to, and also just some like wilderness safety tips in general, because he's a former law enforcement officer. So he's going to be giving you tips on just how to be safe in the woods. And then if you find something, here's how you collect it properly. We have Joe Dutt, who from Team Spectre that does the ghost hunts at the Canton Palace Theater. He's going to be going over different ghost hunting tools and giving demonstrations in our workshop room. So we're trying to really diversify what's happening at the event this year, just to make sure there is something for everyone. If you don't want to just shop, you can watch a podcast or a movie or a demonstration. We have our speakers downstairs, many of which have been on the Travel Channel or the History Channel. So if you want to see, we have Lyle Blackburn is going to be down there. Ken Gearhard's going to be here this year. Boy, I really want to say her name properly because I always mess it up, I feel like. Shay Steingass, who's been on several different shows, and Paul Bartholomew. If you're a Travel Channel, History Channel fan, you're going to know those names, and they're going to be there giving talks downstairs. So you'll be able to come and actually see these people from TV talk about these subjects in person.
That is so cool. I love my favorite thing about doing this podcast is learning that these events are not what you just see on the surface or what you're grabbing from the graphics. Like, I love that there's so much point to it. Like, yeah, we're going to show you how to collect DNA in the woods, but also it's about safety and things like that. Like you said, there's going to be kids there. They might like to explore. They like to be outside. And it's just cool to know this stuff. Anyways, I think as an adult, I'd be like, yeah, show me how to collect things properly. I like CSI.
One of the other workshops we're doing is actually our own researcher, Heather Mosier, and Aaron Deese, who is another researcher with the company, but also an author. They're doing a workshop on how to do research into some of these topics. I think they're calling it researching the unknown, but they're amazing at not only tracking down old newspaper articles and like genealogy stuff, but they're like great at finding stuff. So they're going to go into like some of their research tactics and like how they find some of this information that when we present it in our documentaries, people go, how in the world did you find that? They're going to actually go over some of their methods. And I think Aaron's going to do a little bit about his book writing process too, because at the moment we also have a publishing company that I help with.
Yeah, I told you guys all the stuff and things.
But he's a staffer, but he also is one of our authors, and he's getting ready to start his third book with us in 3 years. He writes books about dogmen, so your werewolves. So he's done 2 so far, and he's getting ready to start the third one. So they're just going to go into what I think is like useful information. Like, are you in college and you want to get better at research? They research really hard stuff. They're probably going to have some tips that would help,
That is incredible. Like, I love that. Like, these little things. There's so much in the creative space. I think that people don't understand. Like, there's I don't want to say a job, but there's something to be learned in every aspect of it. And I absolutely love that. A lot of the vendors I know last year, they were extremely creative. Some of my favorite things were the kind of like the slogans and the sayings of the logos of all the merchandise that people had. Like, it gets so creative. Like your cup on this graphic, I love. Says, I believe in humans. I love that.
Yeah, that actual graphic was made by an artist named Jonathan Addy, who's actually a sponsor at the event this year. And he's going to be debuting a new kind of cryptid themed travel magazine he's making. And then another sponsor this year is Miles Mysteries and Menus. I adore the girl who runs this. Her Instagram is Final Girl Graphics, but she and her partner go around to different restaurants, and it's like a video podcast, and like talk about the history of it, eat there, and just kind of review the experience, which I think is pretty cool because we all see places that have spooky stories and we want to see more, and she's actually going and making this YouTube show.
I love that. That's incredible.
That's fantastic. How many things this can spur off from like a creative standpoint is amazing. Like, and the way you described it is kind of like a Comic-Con feel. I think that gives a lot of people who maybe didn't attend last year an idea of what that is. And I feel like those festival, or I guess convention kind of things have become so popular. So having one that apparently this is like Amanda said, neither of our backgrounds, but it's a huge thing, has a huge following. So you guys bringing that to our neck of the woods is fantastic, and the way you're doing it is fantastic as well, with all the interactive things you can do. Like, this is a thing that you could literally go and spend the entire day at. This isn't just like, oh,
that's the hope.
An hour. You have all the things. It's a full,
Yeah.
when we say convention, like convention. So that's
It is.
amazing.
They take over the whole
The
hotel,
detail that you
guys.
guys are putting into this, and I know
We
the
do
work
come
that
in
you're
and take
putting
over.
Oh, they're going to be taking over the outside too. So tell us what's
Yeah.
going on outside new this year.
So this year, because we had so many people last year and it was just impossible to get everyone fed and everything, I begged and pleaded and was very lucky to be allowed to have food trucks this year. So the street next to the hotel is actually going to be closed down. We're going to have 3 food trucks or vendors out there, as well as a very talented man who does chainsaw carvings. He won't be doing live carvings because that's dangerous, but he will be selling his amazing artwork. And a lot of them are cryptid themes, but not all of them.
Okay.
And you had mentioned comic books. I wanted to circle back to that because we do have a ton of artists who come to this event to vend. One of which is Jim Beard. If you are a comic book fan, you will know him as a very well-known comic book artist. He will be there selling his books, and he usually signs stuff. But he's a local, and I believe he's done stuff, a lot of G.I. Joe stuff, but a lot of other stuff as well. So it is, and there's people that make custom toys that are going to be there. So if you are more of like a Comic-Con fan, you could still come and you're still going to see the toys. You're still going to see some comic book artists. You're going to see lots of artists in general. And we have one girl who if I'm a girl, I like purses, I like bags and that sort of thing. One of my favorite vendors is going to be there who actually custom makes fabric with like different graphics on it, and then makes adorable like books bags and purses and makeup bags. I have bought them at different things before, so it's like, if you want to come to an event, I'll help you get a table. And they weren't here last year, so they're coming this year. But they literally have an artist who draws pictures, and then they have this custom fabric printed of all sorts of different nerdy stuff. So it's not all cryptids. They do like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, like anything pop culture. They usually have a fabric made, and then you can get a bag or a book bag or a tote, and they're adorable and really well made. I have a makeup bag from them that's like waterproof somehow. It's fantastic.
How did I not know you could even do that? Like custom make your own fabric? Like
I have no idea.
That was a thing you can do.
Mm-hmm.
I love this too, because I think it's also showing that not just those who are into this or people looking for something to do, but even the community and community leaders. This is an amazing networking event, guys. Like this is something that could be great for all of downtown, how other places of businesses and vendors could be involved in it, which of course it is in the Palace. And we'll definitely let you tell us about what's going on there. But yeah, so I think that's incredible because it is a big thing. And so many examples Courtney just gave about just by knowing somebody, how they got to be there and how this came about and how it's growing and things like that. So you guys have to remember that about these events and things that are coming into town. Like this is incredible for everybody. And it's amazing for networking because you never know the opportunities that are behind these doors.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I'm like normally talk a lot more on here, but I was just like, I got so sucked into like what you were saying that I was just like listening. I was like, this is amazing. And I was like, oh, I forgot. I need to like intervene here somewhere. But like, I've just been like you just going into all the details and all the spinoffs and all that. I'm just over here fascinated. Like, this is fantastic. I'm like, wait, we're hosting a podcast. I'm supposed to talk. But
I'm more impressed she remembered all these things. Like,
exactly. I've been over here like just soaking it in like a sponge. I'm like, this is amazing. But you did mention, so we had talked about the Palace and how this had not happened anywhere in Ohio, and you chose downtown Canton for that, where that could have been anywhere in Ohio. You're talking about Cleveland, Akron, Columbus, lots of places with huge draws and the facilities to be able to do it. But you picked downtown Canton, and you said the Palace was a big part of that. Can you talk a little bit about why that was? But then too, because we have talked about things at the DoubleTree, the Palace plays an important part because you have programming going there. So can we talk a little bit about what that looks like and how it fits into your
She said she only picked DoubleTree because of the Palace.
So Palace is kind of a home away from home from STM. So we're right now stationed out in Massillon. So we're very close. That's nice. But also just we've done film premieres at the Canton Palace almost since the beginning. Like it is like a big part of Small Town Monsters history. We've filmed multiple shows there. Back when I was first starting with the company, we had a show called On the Trail of Hauntings. That was a little YouTube show where we did like a little ghost hunting night there and filmed the inside of it. And just a couple months ago, we filmed a 15-episode miniseries there on the stage, a roundtable discussion show about UFOs called UFOs Revisited. The first 2 episodes are now on YouTube for free. The third one's coming up later this month. But we love the palace. I mean, first off, it's gorgeous. You're not going to get a better backdrop pretty much anywhere around here. Wow. And there's something special. Like, not everyone's a documentary fan, but there's something special about going someplace so beautiful. You're just immersed in the experience. So it's not just what you're watching, it's where you're watching it. We love it there. So Monster Fest is on June 29th. However, as our own little kickoff event, which is kind of connected, kind of separate, we're doing a film premiere at the Canton Palace on the 28th, where we're going to do, because we have all these guests coming in for the Monster Fest, we're doing Q&A with a bunch of our guests as well as the STM crew. We're having a film premiere for Cursed Waters, the Creature of Lake Okanagan, which is a British Columbia lake monster of sorts. So think of it as Canada's Loch Ness Monster, if you want. We're doing that premiere, and then if you got one of our VIP tickets, we're also going to do a small meet and greet afterwards at the palace, because where else would you want to be? And a fun thing about that movie is you will be able to buy it for the first time at Monster Fest. And we just announced that we have a book coming out to go with it, written by Canadian author Jason Hewlett, who will be at Monster Fest to sign the book if you want, and it'll be the first time you've ever been able to buy it. We're not even putting it out on our website until after Monster Fest. So we're really trying to really promote all this stuff, and if you want to see this for the very first time, you can do it here. Even at Monster Fest, we're doing a couple. Some of the movies we're selling at our booth will be available for the very first time at the event. They're not even going to be on streaming for months potentially, but we're this is our event. We want to have our stuff here for people to get it. We're doing a screening of On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Origin, which is a Bigfoot movie that we shot in British Columbia. And it's not going to be available for streaming, I don't think, for months, but we're going to be selling it and showing it in our movie screening room at the DoubleTree.
Cool.
So we're just trying to offer a lot of extras to be oh, if you are a fan of this, these things are going to be exclusive to you. If you're not a fan of this stuff, there's still all this other stuff to do. And it's inside, in the air conditioning. Kids get in free. There's no school. Come find something to do. Yeah.
That's how you get a man in. You bring in food. We show up.
Mm-hmm. Listen, they literally were telling me about the food trucks today, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited.
Do you have that? Can we give a shout out to those trucks that are going to be there for those food truck connoisseurs that go around? Do you have them locked in, or is that still you're still figuring that out?
I have them locked in. I don't know the name of the Italian food truck. Do you know it? I know
Angelo's To Go.
Okay, I was gonna say I know.
Really yeah, they're fantastic.
Yes.
And then I have a Cryptic Cravings, who is going to be doing gourmet smash burgers, and I have Cajun Jay's going to be there. Who is a Cajun food truck.
Cajun Jay's is awesome as well. He's a very frequenter of our First Fridays and things. So great selections. That's amazing.
Where is he stationed? we'll talk after, because I don't know.
I want to say maybe he came to our Eclipse event too, I think. I don't want to say that for sure, but he's done a few of our partnership things, and he's a good dude. I like that guy a lot. So yeah, it's good. It's a good selection of different types of food.
I
did bring everything back to food when you get on a podcast with Amanda and I. It's our favorite thing.
Well, I wanted there to be options, and the hotel restaurant is great, and that's definitely going to be there and open. Mm-hmm. But last year, just because of the volume of people all trying to eat at the same time, want to be all right, we need more options. Let's make it so that, and also again, that's bringing in other businesses in the community that we're come on, we want you to be part of this. We want you to, reap the rewards of this as well. So come on in, let's work together.
amazing.
I love it.
So
That's lunch for the day for me.
On this podcast, we ask the hard-hitting questions. And since we have
Okay.
you on here, we have to grill you on this. And remember, what happens on the Downtown Scoop podcast stays on the Downtown Scoop podcast. So you can tell secrets, but is Bigfoot real?
Until we post it.
Until we post. No, she wasn't supposed to mention that part. So, in your expert opinion in all of your travels, because a couple of years ago, there was a guy I knew through networking stuff, an insurance guy named Denny. Was like wonderful. And we were like in this tip club. This was like pre-pandemic, all this. And he just starts talking about like joking about Bigfoot stuff. And we made a joke and very seriously like, no, it's real. And we realized, oh, and like you said, he went to like, I think it was the convention in Tennessee or Kentucky every single year. And he was a big believer and follower and like chased this. So in your expert opinion, is Bigfoot real?
So full disclosure, I was never one for like knowing all of the lore. That is for our researchers to know. But I have been on a ton of film shoots at this point because I am a cinematographer as well. And on one of the shoots in Minerva, Ohio, so local, there's a girl down there who works for us who has a farm. And we were doing like a YouTube series down there. And I was there when one of the other guys saw a Bigfoot. And I would have been looking up. I could have seen it, but I was looking through my camera and I was filming him having a conversation with someone else. But he was looking up and he saw it. We were actually driving in one of those four-wheeled gators. And I'm standing up filming him while he is driving and talking to the guy next to him. And he jumps out of the gator, still moving. The other guy has to stop it. And he starts running up this hill where there had been a clear cut for like a pipeline to go through. And unfortunately, it was really overgrown, so he couldn't get up the hill. But he's like, I 100% saw something. And then we camped there every week for like 2 months to film the series. And during that time, there were rocks thrown at us by things in the woods. And this is backwoods farm country where if you're trespassing, you're probably not going to get out of there in one piece. Like these aren't people that want you on their land. So I don't think it was like a neighbor kid or something. We heard I heard one of the stereotypical whoop sounds that Bigfoots make there. And I mean, you could hear like big things going through the woods. And of course there's coyotes there, but it was too big to be a coyote. Yeah. So there was weird stuff going on there. And I've also filmed a ton of interviews where witnesses are going over their stories. And I'm sure some of it is misidentification because you can't say 100% is real. But when you hear some of these people tell their stories and talk about, a lot of them have a lot of trauma from it, like emotionally, like it really upset them. I remember one in particular when we were filming in Alaska 2 years ago. One man was telling us his story, and he's like a big Alaskan backwoods, like he's like a big burly guy, like doesn't look like he's afraid of anything. And we had to like pause the interview because he was getting so emotional that he had to collect himself. But when he's describing, he's like, I saw this thing and then like time seemed to stop and the sky turned purple. I'm like, this thing like gave him such trauma from seeing it that like his mind did something weird for a little bit. And for it to affect people so strongly, I believe they have to be seeing something.
Right.
Because you don't mistake a bear for something and then like have like a quick mental break for a minute and then like still be traumatized from it like 10 years later.
Well, going back to your part in that conversation about when you were recording the guy, he is clearly much more tougher than me, because if I saw a Bigfoot, my first instinct is not going to be to run
opposite direction.
I would have jumped in that four-wheeler and left you to fend for yourself. I'm just going to be honest. I want to say it's every person for themselves. Good luck, Courtney. Thanks for everything you've given to our organization. And I would have been gone. I would have not been running up the hill.
Mike, don't let your girlfriend watch this episode.
I'm not about that life. I'm not about that life. I freely admit it. I would have run as fast as I could from that thing. So good for him for being much tougher
Well, to be fair, it was our company owner, Seth. So he's been making movies about Bigfoot at that point for 8 years. So I think he was just like, I
It's a
gotta
holy
get it on
grail.
film.
Yeah.
But
Holy grail for him.
unfortunately, his camera just mostly was shaking and pointing at the ground as he was running.
Yeah.
There was one frame where there was something blurry and black far away that I presume was what he saw. But the thing is, it was a little handy cam that we were using for like the night vision capabilities, and it just I mean, he was running. Like, you're not going to get a good picture there.
No.
Right.
But next time, there's always going to be a next time, maybe.
Listen, if you're the ones that break it, I mean, we're
We
going
would
to
like
brag
for
to
you to
everybody
come
about
back.
how we had you on and interviewed you before you were big time Bigfoot capturer.
I mean, that would be pretty great. We have been very fortunate that like the show that was on Finding Bigfoot, Cliff Barrickman was one of the main people in there. We worked with Cliff a lot. He was at Monster Fest last year, and he was on that show that we filmed in Minerva. And when he was out with Seth, they were over by Leesville Lake, and they got a really loud vocalization that they captured. So, you know, it's one of those things that it's really cool that I'm able to say, yes, we travel all over the place and we make these documentaries, but some of the cooler stuff that we filmed is here at home too.
Love that. I love that.
I think if it was in Utah, I would have been fine with that. It could have just stayed out there. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Well, Courtney, is there anything else that you want to make sure that people know about Monster Fest this year or years to come that you are looking to implement besides, you know, making it bigger, but always having one at home?
Can you give people like the full roster of like days and times in as well, where they can get information if they want to attend in that as well, just so they have that info?
Sure. So to kind of run through stuff, on June 28th, we have the premiere at the Canton Palace Theater. If you would like to be part of that, those tickets are available for pre-sale now on the Canton Palace Theater website. They're taking care of the ticket sales for that. There's also a link on the Small Town Monsters website to the Canton Palace. So it's all connected together. And doors open for that at 3 o'clock with a Q&A at 3:30, but the movie isn't starting until 4:30. So if you want to be part of stuff, but you are stuck at work or something, you can always, you know, come and get stuff or come and see the movie after work. And then on June 29th is Monster Fest at the DoubleTree, where I'm sure Amanda will be with us. And our VIPs get in at 9 a.m. that day. There are VIP tickets still available if you want to get in that hour early and have the less crowds to like go and meet the guests. All the guests have their own tables, so you can go in and chat with them directly. General admission starts at 10, with the speakers and podcasts all starting at 10:30 or 11. I kind of have them staggered there. And then everything wraps up by 6 p.m. We also just announced our guest of honor for this year is Don Keating. So if you are a Bigfoot fan, he is Ohio, like one of the godfathers of Bigfootery from Ohio. He's very famous for catching, well, first he's written tons of books on the subject, but he's also captured on film a white Bigfoot in Ohio. Which Ohio has a Bigfoot triangle, I'm sure you all know. And white Bigfoot are something that's considered by some to be slightly more prevalent here for some reason.
Because it snows. That's the abominable snowman, I think.
It could be. I don't know. But,
sorry.
I was today years old. I was today years old when I learned about a Bigfoot triangle. I was not
in Ohio.
Is it like the like the Bermuda Triangle? Like they just get lost in Ohio? Is that what we?
It's like it's like in this triangle between these three cities in Ohio, there's supposed to be a higher population of Bigfoot, so you're more likely to see them, I guess. But Don Keating, who is a very well-known old school Bigfoot researcher, is our guest of honor. And he'll be speaking at the event. He's going to be our closing speaker for the night to tap stuff off. And he, like I said, is incredibly well-known and respected. He does not do many speaking engagements anymore. So we felt very honored that he offered to speak. So we're like, yeah, absolutely. We want you here. We love you. You're our guest of honor. Let's do it.
That's incredible. That just goes to show you guys like what type of event this is. It's more than just about I mean, if people laugh about Bigfoot and aliens,
Mhm.
whatever have you, and all the throwing stuff, but this is a
Mhm.
big deal to a lot of people. A lot of cool stuff
Mhm.
happens. And again, a lot of creativity and things that get put into this event. So this people's work. People are sharing a piece of themselves. And I
Mhm.
think that you can never like go wrong with any event like that. So come out, learn something new, have a good time, get some fun merchandise because we
Mhm.
absolutely love we love the shirts and some of the sayings on some of these shirts. It was
Mhm.
literally great. I should just get like a picture collage of like all my favorite sayings and like I'll just post it. That's what I'll do.
Some of them are really great. Like the artists that come up with some of the stuff are just, I mean, I know a lot of them very well because we do these events other places, but they're all such kind, laid back people who just have like a lot of passion. And
Hmm.
I mean, you'd mentioned UFOs. I almost forgot because we talk so much about Bigfoot. Of course, we are incorporating other paranormal cryptid things. So, like Ryan Sprague, um, who is very well known in UFO circles, is going to be here as a guest. So
Oh,
he's going to be
cool.
at a table if you wanted to go up and talk to him. Like all of these people, many of which have been on TV, they're going to be sitting at a table in the vendor hall. You can go up and talk to them. Or some of them will be selling books that they've written and you can get them signed. Like these things, like, yeah, you could buy their book online or you could go and meet them in person and actually speak to them, get them to sign your book. Like that isn't something that you get to do every day, especially with
No,
such a variety of topics. Like they're all kind of in the
correct.
paranormal cryptid realm, but we tried to make sure that there is something for everyone in the topic space.
Love that. I have UFO alien questions, so I might have to go talk to him.
Mhm.
I do. Like,
I definitely need to make an appearance this year at this thing because you have sold it to me, and I just want to come explore it. Like Amanda said, I think Amanda's word for it. Just walking through just sounds so cool, and seeing, like I said, I don't have a lot of background knowledge in all this, but just
Mhm.
coming and
mm,
seeing the vendors, and I have to make an appearance at this, so I might have to jump online and snag a ticket to this Monster Fest. I heard
Yeah.
incredible things about it last year after the weekend past. People that had come were raving about it. People at the Palace and
Nice.
on the board, they were raving about how well it went. And
Mhm.
so I was like,
we
yeah,
were
I'm gonna go
talking
check
about it
that
for a
out. And now
while.
you sold it. Yeah, I got to be there.
Well, pre-sale tickets are available online, and there will also be tickets available at the door that morning. If you come and buy a ticket at the door, it's probably going to be me selling them to you.
And then you get
So
to meet Courtney,
There you
guys.
come
go.
and say hi to me, buy a ticket. I'll give you a fancy wristband. And that's another thing I forgot to mention. Everything is included with the price of admission. I know you go to some events and you get in for one price, but then you have to pay more for the speakers or something.
Yeah,
You're in for everything. It's one
that's
Love
price
actually
for the
that.
whole
great.
day for
That's
That is
amazing.
everything.
that is awesome. I hope more places really adopt that because I
No,
think
that's a great feature. You're right.
we love an
Mm,
all-inclusive resort. This is an
yeah.
Yeah,
all-inclusive
all
convention,
It's
inclusive
all
guys.
Monster Fest.
inclusive. It's all inclusive and kids 12 and under are free for everything. So, I mean, if you're a family, you're just paying for the adults, but everyone gets in for the whole day.
And here I go with my mom and Mike. Ready? I always do food in the mom speech. We are
Mhm.
always looking for something for our kids to do. I
Right.
popped on a I popped on a couple posts this week on people talk about there wasn't things for their children to do. And I had to correct them and tag several
Mhm.
things and pages
Mhm.
like guys, there are things and
Hmm.
and it's everywhere. Some cost, some are free, some are
Mhm.
mid-level, some are just a little bit. So honestly, like
Mhm.
there are things you guys just have to look in the right place. Where she's saying that the kids 12 and under. I don't care
Mhm.
if your child's never into it. My son has never expressed any interest in Bigfoot and UFOs, but I honestly think he would think it was super cool to walk around and see some of these things that go on and things like
Mhm.
that because it's just a neat thing to experience.
Mhm.
Expand their knowledge and perspective on a few things. There's nothing wrong with that. You might learn something. You might meet new people. And to Courtney's point, this was an incredible group of people too. Like I said, they were
Hmm.
happy. You're dealing with a
Mhm.
bunch of creative people who are passionate about something. I don't care what it is. You're always going to have those good vibes when somebody is passionate about something. So
Yep.
I love it. I'm here for
Mhm.
it. And I look forward to eating at the food trucks
Absolutely.
We're
and
coming
to
for you,
close.
Caitlin Day. We're coming for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Courtney. We're excited about your event. We're excited about hearing about more things to come. And we can't wait for the breaking news on when you finally get a hold of Bigfoot.
We will have you back on our show to present.
You guys will be my first email if that happens.
We're holding you to that. We got it on video. It's a contract.
We might have to do a live episode when that happens. All right.
Yes,
absolutely.
Amanda has the technology.
I got you. All right. Thank you so much, Courtney.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
I love how we watched the progress of telling somebody about this event, how Mike just was like, oh my gosh, all this is going on. Yep, now I gotta go. Like that.
Like I said, I knew about it last year and I didn't make it. And then everybody was talking about it. And even I think until she explained it, didn't even fully realize what it was. Like I knew it was about the Bigfoots and things, but when she was, like I said, the first half of the show, when she was going into all the podcasts and the creators and all the things, I was over here like, what? All this? Like I was hooked and I'm going to be there. I gotta look up the calendar, but I'm going to make room to at least drop by because I have to attend this year and check it out. It just sounds so much fun and so awesome. It's such a fun experience. Like she said, that all for one ticket, man. That's a great thing because you go to some of these festivals or these conventions and it runs up quick. So the way they're doing
it, you pay for a piece of paper plus everything else.
Yeah, you pay for just the experience to look at other people having fun. But it's such a cool thing and such a cool thing for downtown Canton. We always talk about economic development. This brought some people in, like the hotel's full and the restaurants and all that. Like this is another reason that we wanted to bring Courtney on and talk about this because this is another one of those events that is not just. This is actually probably one of the first events we've done. Like we had Pride on and talking about like the people of Stark County coming to it. Not that will bring people in from outside of the county, but almost every other city has a Pride event. This is the only one of these in Ohio. So you're talking about people from all over Ohio, out of state coming in. Like it's an impact on our not just downtown region, but Stark County community, because when people stay in the hotel, that benefits Visit Canton and it brings people in. Like the trickle up effect happens. So it's awesome that they chose our community for this. And like she said, I loved her talking about the Palace because we had that same conversation. We had Georgia on about just the magicalness of that theater. And again, just building up that like why downtown is like the best place to be and to do all these things. And she just nailed it and played right into it. I actually didn't know they were located in Massillon. That was new for me. So
I didn't either.
Great that we could steal them over to the good side of West Tusk and get them away from that evil Lincoln Way side. So for joining us, but that was such a great show that even I didn't realize how into it I was going to get.
I love it. I love it too, because this is what the Downtown Scoop is all about. Reminding you guys that there is wonderful things that happen there. There's incredible things. There is tons of diverse things. We are a divergent city. We are a divergent town. Downtown Canton really happens to house a lot of that. And we're just here to make sure that you guys know. And like I said, like me and Mike, we learned, I'm this way. Me and Mike, we learn with you. We talk about things, but that's what we're here for, because we're just like anybody else in the community. We just have the access to sit and talk to these people so you guys can know this information to help shift the perspective. And honestly, we want everybody to have their events in downtown Canton. Create an event. Tell us about an event that's somewhere else, and maybe it might be better down to DoubleTree or Centennial Plaza or wherever. So yeah, we love that. We love this podcast. We love our guests and our audience.
It's a blast so far.
We've been so blessed. We look forward to the next episode.
We got a lot of great guests coming on as the summer comes on. So it's just gonna keep tuning back because we're bringing all the people with all the amazing stories coming on. So I'm excited to just keep it rolling.
You and me both. And guys, if you're not already, please make sure that you are following us on Facebook at Downtown Canton Partnership. We post all of when our episodes are live there. We have a couple shorts. Me and Mike are going to get on these little mini scoops when we go to these events. So you guys can see kind of behind the scenes stuff, and any updates that have to do with Downtown Canton, you'll find on there too. So if you're looking for things to do for your children or your family and stuff, we got you. We got you. Just go right there. All right, guys, this has been another incredible episode of the Downtown Scoop, your Downtown Canton Partnership podcast. Until next time. Bye, guys.